Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's class on bathroom design. My name is Nick, and I will be doing the presentation with you today. Just like all of our previous webinars, everybody will be on mute. So if you do happen to have any questions at any point during our class, please feel free to go ahead and type that into the questions and answers section in the Zoom panel, and I will go through and answer any questions that may have come up. Also, at the end of the class, I will be sending out an email that will contain a document that covers everything that we're going to be going through in today's class. Should you happen to have any questions while going through that document, you can reach out and contact our support department. You can do that from Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be happy to help you out. Again, today's class is on bathroom design, and I'm just going to go over a quick overview of what we're going to talk about in today's class. So in today's class, we're going to go through how you can design a bathroom in Envisioneer. We're going to be looking at some step-by-step exercises to help you achieve a bathroom design. We're going to be creating and inserting a custom vanity. We're also going to be inserting a couple of different showers. We're going to be doing just a basic shower that is a block. And we're also going to be creating a custom shower enclosure using walls. We're then going to be looking at creating a custom tub surround, and then how to insert a tub into your design. So first, let's talk about vanities. So there are many vanities in the catalog, and you can create custom cabinets as well. If you have a vanity that you offer in most of your models, you should add it to the catalog for future use. Adding frequently used elements to the catalog will save you work as you create more models. So let's talk about customizing a cabinet. Each cabinet that you see in the catalog has numerous properties that you can customize to create a new cabinet. You can edit the height, the width, and the depth of the cabinet, change the door style, or simply update the finish. To change a cabinet, we're going to go into a 2D plan view to start. And then we're going to go up and we're going to select under Insert, Interiors, you're going to select Cabinets. Or if you like to use the buttons under the Interiors tab, you're going to select the Cabinets button. On the right-hand side, you're going to see a cabinet added in. So you're going to see the cabinets added in on the right-hand side, and that's just opening up the catalog. And I'm just going to do some housekeeping in here. We're going to delete that one out. And we'll delete this one out as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to add in a brand new cabinet into our catalog. So to do that, we're going to select one of the cabinets, doesn't matter which one. And we're just going to simply go in and say right-click, and we're going to select Add Element. This will bring up the Define Element dialog. And this is essentially asking you, how do you want to create the new element? You can create the new element by just selecting the Cabinets option, which will give you the ability to use the predefined cabinets in Envisioneer and modify it to create a custom looking cabinet. Or you can select the custom block option. The custom block option will allow you to import a cabinet that was created in an outside program, like using anything that can create DWGs, DXF, 3DS, or SKP files. We're just going to use the Envisioneer cabinets. We're going to select cabinets, and we're going to select OK. Now, depending on the cabinet that you had selected when you selected the Add option, it will bring up a copy of that particular element. So I had the 30-inch double door bathroom vanity selected, so it's creating a copy of that. So I'm going to give this a different name. So let's change the name a little bit here. We're going to keep it to be a 30-inch double door bathroom vanity, but I'm going to make this a floating vanity. I want this to sit up off of the floor. So I'm going to change it to be a 30-inch double door bathroom, and we're going to say floating vanity. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to start to make some adjustments to the actual cabinet itself. So what we're going to change here is we're going to look at customizing a couple of different things. So under the Basic tab, we can change the actual type. Is it a base cabinet? Is it an upper cabinet? Is it a pantry cabinet? This is going to be a base cabinet. Well, what type of base cabinet do we want to use? Is it going to be a type with a single door, a double door, a drawer and a door, a drawer and two drawers and two doors, or is it going to be a drawer unit, a corner unit, an angle corner, a countertop, or just a spacer? We're going to keep ours set to being a type 4, which is a single door with a double door option. You can adjust the width, the height, and the depth of your cabinet under the properties section. You can also adjust the way the door shows. Do you want to display the door or do you want an open cabinet design? We want the doors to show up. What do you want the door spacing to be? And this will be the spacing between the actual elements themselves. And I'm just going to turn it into a rendered outline view so you can see it a little bit clearer. So you can see the actual spacing between the drawer and the doors themselves. The next option is the 2D representation. So when I add in a cabinet, do I want the cabinet edges? So if I view this in a 2D plan view, do I want the edges of the cabinet to be displayed? By default, it is set to auto. So if you insert one cabinet, you will see the edges of the cabinet on either side because auto is enabled. If I insert one cabinet and I have on turned on, it will obviously show the edges of the cabinet. But if I add in a separate cabinet and I attach the two together, it will still show me the edges of each cabinet. So if you want to see all the individual cabinets in your design, you would have your 2D representation for both the left and the right edge set to on. That way you will see every cabinet you place in. If you like the nice clean look of not seeing all the individual cabinets, then leave it set to auto. And every time you add in a new cabinet, the edges will snap together and it will create a clean single look for where your counters are. Next, we have the leaf tab. What type of leaf do we want this door or this cabinet to have? In this case, we want this to be a raised panel. So I'm going to have panel 1 selected, and I can adjust not only the door, but the drawer to show a different panel. So right now we are showing panel 1, which is a recessed panel with 2-inch rail and stiles on each of the drawer and the doors. Under details, we can control how we want this cabinet to look. So when it comes to the counter, are we showing the counter and what is the thickness of the counter? When it comes to a backsplash, do we want to show a backsplash or not? If you do, what is the height and the thickness of that backsplash? Nosing, do you want to show a nosing on your counter? Yes, we do. So we're going to include a nosing with a thickness, a height, and a radius. Do we want to show shelves in our cabinetry? This is the area of focus for our cabinet because we're going to be creating a floating cabinet. So here we can see that we have the toe space set to indent. So when you're standing in front of the cabinet, you have space for your feet to sit. So we're going to change that to be floating. Now we're going to be able to specify, all right, well, how high off of the floor do we want this to be floating? And I'm going to go up 6 inches. And then I'm just going to press tab. That's going to reduce the height of the cabinet doors themselves because I need to take that into consideration. I still want it to insert at 2 foot 8 inches high, but I want to make sure that I have enough room so it's floating off of the floor itself. So by adjusting that option, I've given it that 6 inches of clearance from the floor to the bottom of the cabinetry. We can also control the hardware. Do we want to show hardware or not? If you do, what type of hardware do you want to show? By default, we have 3 different types. You can use a box, a cylinder, or a circle, and you can control exactly where you want the hardware to sit in relation to the door itself. Under appearance, what do we want the cabinet to look like? So what appearance or materials are we applying to each of the components available? Be it the cabinet, the counter, the drawer, the door, the recess, the shelving units. All of that can all have its own individual material. When it comes to line work, when we're looking at it in 2D, how do we want this cabinet to look? In this case, we're going to keep it so that it uses the cabinet's layer, so it will show up with the correct blue color and match any other cabinets we insert. If you are using quantity information, you will want to make sure you give this a unique custom proper or part number, so that way it is going to be unique in your catalog and in your reports. I'm just going to say, okay. And that's now created a brand new bathroom vanity for us. And I can insert that bathroom vanity. I'm going to make sure collision is turned on. And I'm going to be able to insert that bathroom vanity 2 times into my design. Because I inserted 2 cabinets, but I had auto turned on, it automatically removed that line in between the 2. And I'm seeing just one continuous countertop in my design. Again, if I want to show individual cabinets, you can go into the properties and you would set this to on and on. And now you will see each individual cabinet. If that is something you want to show all the time, then you will want to make sure you update the catalog. So that way you don't have to change it every time you insert a cabinet. It will always reference what you have in the catalog. So now we're going to take a look at adding in shower units. So when you want to insert a shower in your design, you can insert a shower unit from the catalog, or you can use the walls tool to create a custom shower enclosure. We're first going to insert just a block shower into our corner of our design here. So we're going to go up and we're going to select under, again, insert, interiors, plumbing fixtures, and then you can select the shower option. Or if you like to use the buttons underneath the interiors tab, you can select the plumbing fixtures, and then the catalog on the right-hand side will populate with all the different shower options. Now, depending on the type of shower you want to insert, there are a couple of different ones in here, and you can select whichever one you want, and then you can bring it into your drawing area and you can place it in. If you have a specific type that you want to bring in, like a neo angle, so it fits in that corner, you can simply select it, drop it into that corner, and say finish. As long as you have collision turned on, it will flip the shower around so it sits in that corner. And I'm just going to turn this into a rendered outline view so you can see it a little bit clearer. And we can now see that shower unit sitting in that corner. And I can elevate this up just a little bit. I'm going to go up a 1/4 inch so that it sits up off top of the floor there. And we can see how that shower unit is going to fit in that design. The more popular option now is creating your own custom shower enclosure. So using walls to create your shower spaces. So custom showers, again, are going to be a more popular design feature in today's market. So let's create our own using walls. So I'm going to go back to the building tab. I'm going to select walls. I'm going to use the little drop down and I'm going to select walls. On the right hand side, the catalog will again populate with all the different wall types available. And I'm just going to create a wall using a 2x6 wall. So I'm just going to grab an interior framed partition. I'm just going to grab a 2x6 interior wall. I'm going to move my cursor into the drawing area. I'm going to right click and I'm going to select enter insertion offset. And I'm going to type in 4 feet. And then I'm going to say OK. This will add in my first wall exactly 4 feet from that corner. And I simply left click once to place that wall in. I'm going to move my mouse down and I'm going to type in 4 feet and I'm going to hit enter. And that's going to add in that first wall for us. And then I'm just going to move my mouse to the right and I'm going to snap it to the wall of the exterior wall. And this will create a custom wall for us. So this will add in our walls for us to start our custom corner shower. I'm going to right click and I'm going to select finish. And then I'm going to left click on each of the walls that I just added in. So I'm just going to select one and then select the other. And then I'm going to right click properties. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to change the name. I'm going to give this a name of tiled shower wall. And what we're going to do now is we're going to start making some adjustments. So under top and bottom, I want this to be level, but I want it to be 4 feet high. I want to create a knee wall with this particular wall, and then I'm going to create a glass partition that's going to sit on top. So we're going to make this wall 4 feet high. We're then going to select the trim tab. Since this is going to be a part of my shower, I don't want any trim on it. So I'm going to make sure I get rid of the trim on both the left and the right side of that wall. So I'm just going to select trim, delete, and delete. And then the right side, baseboard, delete, and casing, delete. No trim on these two walls at all. Under the Appearance tab, I'm just going to select the exterior surface, and I'm just going to go right down to openings. I'm just going to select those 4 options, and then we're going to change the material to use a different style of material. And this is going to be a tiled wall, so we're going to use the tile option. So I'm going to scroll down to generic wall tile, and you can use any one of the tile options available in here. I'm just going to grab the subway tile, and then I'm just going to say OK. That will now apply the subway tile to the wall for us. I'm then going to say underneath, or so I'm then going to select the line work tab. Again, I'm going to make sure that everything is set up the way that I want. Under quantities, again, if I want to adjust the quantities for quantity information, I can adjust how that is going to be quantified. I'm going to say OK. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new location for our glass. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to select the building locations button in the bottom left-hand corner, or you can go up to settings and you can select building locations. We're going to select the ground floor and we're going to select add location. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call it glass. We'll call it shower glass. We want to make sure we adjust a couple of the variables in here. So I want to make sure that the wall height isn't 8 feet. I want this to be 4 feet because I'm adding this on top of my other wall. So we're going to make it 4 feet. And we're just going to simply say OK to that. We're going to also adjust the height of this to be 5 feet. I'm doing 5 feet, again, because my ground floor is sitting 1 foot off of the terrain. My wall height is 4 feet, so this wall needs to sit at 5 feet. So 1 plus 4 equals 5. So that's where I'm getting that 5 foot from. And then I'm just going to say, OK. That's now created a brand new location for us. And what we're going to do now is select the 2 walls that we added in. We're going to right click and we're going to say duplicate to location. I'm going to duplicate those 2 walls to the shower glass and we're going to say OK. Do you want to delete the original? No, I do not want to delete the original. I want to keep those walls in there. And then we're just going to switch to the glass shower location. When you do that, you're going to see the 2 walls that we just selected are now duplicated up, but we want these to be glass. So again, we're going to select those 2 walls, right-click Properties, and we're going to make some adjustments. We want this to be just a general wall. There's going to be no framing in this wall, so I don't want it to be framed. And I also only want it to be 1/2 inch thick. I don't need an interior surface on either side, so we're going to get rid of the thickness on either side. And we're going to change the actual name to be glass wall. Under top and bottom, we're going to keep it at 4 feet, but again, you can adjust it to be whatever height that you want. So if you want to adjust the height so that there's a bit of a gap between the ceiling and the top of the glass wall, so we'll say 3 foot 6 inches. We're then going to go to trim. Again, there should be no trim. On appearance, we're going to change this to be glass. So I'm going to select all of those options. We're going to change the material from that tile color, and we're now going to select a glass color. So I'm going to select glass mirror. You can select any one of the glass options in here. I'm just going to grab the common glass, And we're going to grab common, and we're going to say okay. And you can now see the common glass is selected. And then we're just going to simply say, again, under line work, we'll keep all that the same. Same with quantities. If you want to adjust it, you can. We're going to say okay. And we can now see that glass wall is now added in. Depending on how you want this to be reflected in your design, you can move the glass to wherever you want in that particular wall. So in this case, if I want to keep a ledge on this, on the interior side so that I can put soap and shampoo bottles or what have you, I can move the actual wall so that it sits exactly where I want. So I'm just going to move it so that it sits right on this corner here. And then I'm just going to go in and say move. And again, we're just going to move it so that it sits right on the edge there. Same with this side. I'm just going to move it so that it sits right on the edge of that corner. What we're essentially going to see in our 3D view is how that wall now lines up with the glass on the exterior side, creating a ledge on the interior side. Now we need to create a shower door. So we're going to add in a door. I'm going to go back to the ground floor location, and I'm just going to grab a door. In the catalog right now, there is already a shower door under custom. So you can use the glass shower door from within here. We're going to create a new one so you can see how to do that. And we're just going to grab a interior door. Just going to go up to interior frame doors. We're going to grab a 32-inch hinge door. I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to go right click, and I'm just going to select center on wall, and I'm just going to grab and drop that door right on the center. And then we're going to zoom out, and we're going to delete that mark out. And I'm going to take this door, and I'm going to right click, and I'm just going to flip the opening. I want it to be opening outside of the shower. If I take a look at that, we're now seeing a wood door with a wood frame in our shower. So we want to make some adjustments there. So we're going to select that door, right click, properties. I'm just going to change the name of this. I'm going to call it shower door. And we're going to start to adjust the actual properties of the door itself. So first things first, the height and the width are fine. I'm okay with that. But the leaf itself should just be a flat panel. And that flat panel should be 1/2 inch thick to match the thickness of the glass above. Under details, I'm going to adjust the frame thickness and depth. So I want this to be 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch. That's just changing the shape of the actual frame. Under appearance, this is where I can get creative. So if I want this to look like just a glass shower door, then I can actually go in and make everything glass. I would also go back into details, and I would make this even smaller. I would go down to about 1/4 inch. If I want it to be like an invisible looking, just a glass shower door without any kind of a frame around it, that's what I would do there. If I want to show a frame, so maybe I want the frame to be a stainless steel, I would adjust the actual frame to be stainless steel. So we're going to go down to frame finishes, and we're going to change that to be stainless steel. And then I would change the door leaf to be glass to match the shower wall. So we're going to make that common glass. So door leaf, go down to glass, and then common glass, and we'll say okay. And now we've created a shower door that has a stainless steel frame and a glass shower door. And then we can just simply say okay. And when we look at that in our 3D view, now we're seeing that glass shower door with the frame around it. You can also elevate a door that's been added in, and you can go up 3 inches, and this will create the curb to help keep the water in the shower instead of it leaking out underneath the door. So you can, again, elevate doors up or down to help create curbs in your design. Next, we're going to add in our tub, and we're going to create a platform tub underneath our window here. So the catalog contains a wide variety of tubs that you can insert into your designs. You can also download elements from the internet that are in SKP, DWG, 3ds, DXF, or IFC format, and then import them into Envisioneer. Many manufacturers create 3D blocks of their fixtures so you can incorporate them into your designs. Just make sure that the block that you are importing is in fact a true 3D model, not an actual 2D symbol. And those 2D symbols will not have any 3D components attached to them. Pardon me. Creating a custom tub surround. So again, like I mentioned, we're going to be creating a custom tub underneath our window. So for spa tubs, you will need to create a custom platform enclosure to surround the unit. You can use the walls and the surfaces tools to create a custom tub surround of any height and shape. First, we're going to add in the tiled shower wall to the catalog so that we can use it to build our tub surround. So we go back into 2D. We're going to take this wall and we're going to save it to our catalog. So you can go up and you can go File, Catalogs, Save Element to Catalog, and then you can click on the wall. Once you click on the wall, it will allow you to save it to the catalog itself. And in the catalog, you will now have a tiled shower wall. I'm going to select that tiled shower wall, and I can now start to draw this new wall in. And I'm going to pick this corner right here. I'm going to left click once, and then I'm going to move my mouse down. Once I move my mouse down, I'm then able to give it an actual distance. And I want this to go past the window, so I'm going to go 8 feet. I'm just going to type in 8 feet, and I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to move my mouse back to the right, snapping it to the center of the exterior wall. I can fine tune the placements here. I can see that I got about 3 feet here, which will be good because that'll leave me space to place in a toilet in this area here. So I'm going to leave everything as it is. I'm going to go into a 3D view, and we can see our tub surround is now added in, but it is sitting up too high. And that's because the tiled wall that we added in is 4 feet high. What we want to do is we want to adjust it a little bit. So we're going to go back into 2D, and I want to take a look at how a wall or how walls are created in Envisioneer. So when walls get added in, they get created, and depending on how they were created, they will create an intersection. And right now what we're doing is we're taking this surface, it's got to meet this surface, and this wall is meeting this surface. So it's creating a triangle right here. If I take this wall and if I go into the properties and I simply say top and bottom, make this wall 1 foot 10 inches and say okay. When I go back into a 3D view, I'm taking that triangle edge and I'm dropping it straight down. So I'm going to get this chamfered look in my corner, and I don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do is going to go back and we're going to edit undo. I'm going to select this wall and I'm going to say, I want to keep this part of the wall where it is, but I'm going to break it to do that. So I'm going to select the wall, right click break, and I'm breaking it on this interior edge right here. That keeps that part of that triangle part of the wall in place. I can now select this wall and this wall, go into their properties, top and bottom, and we're just going to call this 1 foot 10 inches and say okay. When I go back into that 3D view, I've now lowered these two walls. I left that triangle piece in there so I can see that it's now cleaned up that intersection. You're seeing the actual lines right now because I have it turned into a rendered outline view. If I just go to rendered view, you won't see those lines. So don't worry about the lines showing up. That's completely normal. You go back into rendered outline. Now that I have my walls added in, I can start to go through and I can start to add in some other elements. Now in the shower itself, we also have tile in here. So right now, if I select this wall and this wall, I can see that based on where I'm standing here, looking to the red dot, this is going to be the right-hand side of the wall. And same over here, we're going to be looking at the right-hand side of the wall. So I want to make sure that the right-hand side of those two exterior walls do not have trim. So we're going to make sure that we delete the trim out. And I want to change the appearance on the right-hand side to be that subway tile as well. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to change it to be tile, walls. I'm going to go to subway tile. I'm going to say okay and okay. And what we're going to see now is the tile in the shower. Now here, what I can do is I can again go in. I like to use construction lines. So I just type in L on my keyboard for line. I'm going to drop a line in on that corner, and I'm going to go out 4 inches. And I'm just going to create a line. I'm going to take this wall, right click, break, and I'm just going to break the wall right on that line. I'm going to select this wall, right click, properties, and again, on the right-hand side, I'm going to get rid of the trim. I'm going to go trim, and I'm going to say delete the baseboard out, and then appearance on that right-hand side, we are going to add in a tile, and I'm going to use the subway tile. And what this will do is it will apply that material on the outside of the shower, so we have that bit of an overlap, so we don't have to worry about water getting onto our drywall. So depending on where you want to break your walls, you can adjust and break accordingly to, again, help with material placements. I'm going to go back into 2D, and now we're going to create the custom top for our tub surround. So to do that, we're going to go up and we're going to add in a surface. So if you use these surfaces, you can select surfaces, and in the catalog on the right-hand side, you can add in or use an existing surface. Now, depending on what you have in here, I'm just going to delete this one out. If you have a custom folder added in, you can add to that custom folder, or you can add in your own group and call it custom surfaces into the catalog itself. So I'm going to delete these out, and we're just going to start brand new. So I'm going to go to Element Manager. This might take a second to open. And once it's open, we're going to go to the surfaces section, and I'm just going to select custom and delete. And then I'm going to go down to this custom, and I'll leave that one alone. I will delete that one too, and delete. And delete. And then we'll select custom 2 and delete. Now I'm going to select the surfaces option, right click, and we're going to add a new group. And this new group is going to be called custom surfaces. Under the custom surfaces, we're going to right click and we're going to select add element. You can use ceiling or floor, either one is fine. I'm just going to use ceiling. We just want to make sure that it has the correct thickness. And I want the thickness of this to be 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to give it a name, and we're just going to call the name tiled tub surround. We're next going to select the appearance tab. And under the appearance tab, we're just going to select everything right down to soffit. So I'm just going to hold my shift key down, and I'm just going to multiple select all of that. And then we're going to change the material to be whatever material we want for the custom tile surround. In this case, we're probably going to want to make sure it matches what the walls are. So we're going to make it a subway tile as well. So we're just going to scroll down to subway tile, and then we're going to say okay. We're going to say okay. and OK to the element manager. And we've now added in a brand new custom folder called Custom Surfaces. In that custom surfaces, we now have a custom surface called tiled tub surround. We're going to use that and we're going to add it into our drawing. So I want to actually drop it in that surface. And we're going to select our points around our design. And we're just picking on the areas where we want the tile tub surround to go. And then we're going to right click and select finish. So we made the walls 1 foot 10 inches high, and we made the surface 3/4 of an inch. So we want to make sure that it's a flat surface. So that gives me a total height of 1 foot 10 3/4 inches. Since we made it a flat surface, it's going to automatically fill in the lower point for us. And then we're just going to simply say, OK. When I look at that in a 3D view, I can now see my tiled tub surround is also added in. I want to rotate the positioning of the material so that the tile runs left to right instead of up and down. So we're going to go into the properties of that material. Under appearance, under the surface, we're just going to change the mapping to be 90 degrees. And then when we say OK, it will change the direction in which the texture is running. Now that we've added in the tiled tub surround, now we're going to add in our actual tub. So to do this, we're going to go up and again under interiors. If you like to use the insert option, so go to insert, interiors, plumbing fixtures. Or if you like to use the buttons under the interiors tab, select plumbing fixtures. And then select a bathtub. And in here, you're going to have a couple of different options. There are some drop-in tubs that you can add in. I'm just going to grab this drop-in tub, and I'm going to bring it into my drawing area. When I do that, it won't allow me to actually place the tub in there, and that's because I have collision turned on. So I will need to turn collision off in this case, and I'm just going to drop that tub right in the middle of the area. I'm going to select it, rotate it around, and I can move it into place. So I can move it exactly where I want and place it wherever I need it to be. I'm going to mirror this one around because it's got a bit of a lip on one side. So I'm going to mirror it. And I'm going to mirror it based on the middle. And I'm going to say yes to deleting the original. So what I've now done is I've taken that bathtub and I've added it in. And I'm now seeing the tile tub surround overlapping my tub. So I do need to make some adjustments. And I'm going to elevate this tub up a little bit as well. We're going to go up 1/4 of an inch. We're going to say apply and OK. And what we're going to be able to do now is cut the surface out. So I can select the surface. And since I had it selected in 3D, so if I go back into 3D, I can select the surface here and go back into 2D, and I can go edit, select previous, and it will bring up the last selected elements. I'm then going to go in and say right click, and I'm going to say cut opening. And I am just going to cut an opening around this tub. And as you can see, I'm just going to the interior side here. I'm just kind of placing this in. We're going to say finish. Again, what that will do is it will now cut the tub surround out around that part of the bathroom. So right now we're seeing the tub surround is cut out, and I can see that tub in the bathroom area. If you want to change a tub, if you don't like the way it looks, you can select a tub and you can go in and say replace. And maybe we just want to use a different tub. So let's just grab this freestanding tub as an example. I can switch it out to use that. And in a 3D view, I can now see that new tub added in. I can take the edges that I've used and I can start to manipulate them. So that should be to there. This should be to here. And then I can say curve. And I can curve the opening of that as well so that it's cutting around the actual curve of that tub. So I get a lot of different controls when it comes to surfaces and manipulating how I want them to appear in my designs. And so now I'm seeing the custom tub in that area. You can add in custom elements. So like I mentioned, you can take under interiors, we have toilets. You can drop in your standard, whatever kind of toilet you want into your designs, and you can place them in. As long as you have collision turned on, they will snap to where you want them to be. You can also use a enter insertion offset option. So if you know that I want a toilet to sit at least 1.5 inches off of the wall, so I have enough room to place the toilet in and get the lid of the toilet off, it will place that toilet 1.5 inches off of the wall. So if I do that again, right click, enter insertion offset from the back of the toilet, I want 1.5 inches. It will automatically snap that toilet 1.5 inches away from the wall. Sinks, you can select the sink option, and there's a couple of different sinks that you can add into the program. There are sinks that will be mounted to the countertop, so it will automatically drop in a sink and it will place it in. And it will cut the countertop out automatically. Or you can add in a sink that sits right on top. So you would add in like a, where are you? We have a rectangular countertop sink. And what you would do with this one is, again, with collision turned off, you can place this sink on top of the countertop and you'll have a raised looking sink. So it all depends on the type of materials you want in your design or the type of sinks you want to place in your design. If I duplicate this sink back over, we can also add in fixtures. So you can select the fixtures option and you can see faucets and fixtures. And then we can just add in any kind of a sink faucet that you want. So as an example here, I can just drop in a faucet on top of this sink and on top of this sink. In my shower, I can add in different shower head options. So if I want to use a different shower head design, I can grab any one of these and just drop it in. Where are you? There it is there, sorry. And we can place the shower head, again, with collision turned on, we can place it in so it snaps up against the wall. We can also add in custom units for our tubs. So if we want to add in a nice brass faucet for the bathtub, we can again place all of these different elements in and we can fine tune the placement. So I'm going to elevate these guys down to 2 foot 8.5 inches. So it sits on top of my sink. And then in here, we know that this is 1 foot 10 3/4. So I'm going to select this unit, elevate, and it's going to be 1 foot 10. 1 foot 10 3/4. And then we just say apply and okay. And it will add in the different fixtures into our design as well. One final thing that I like to do is, depending on how much detail you want to place in your designs, you can create custom elements for things like water. So if we go back to our surfaces, and we have a custom surfaces folder now, I can select that tile tub surround, and I can go right click, add elements. And I'm just going to call this tub water. And then what I can do there is I can go into the appearance. I leave the thickness at 3/4 inch, but I'm going to change the appearance to be actual water. So I'm going to go into the materials, change all of the materials to be a water color. And we're just going to use underneath finishes. Underneath landscape materials, that's where it is. We can select a water material And I'm just going to grab this water good, and we'll say okay. And I'm just going to apply that to the new material. I can then take that material and I can say, well, I want to add in a new material from here. And I'm basically just tracing out that cut opening that I added in. And we're going to say it's going to be 0 slope. And we're going to make it 1 foot 8 inches high. I'm going to say okay. And then we're just going to curve it to, again, match the shape of the tub that we've dropped in already. And this just gives your renderings, if you're looking to render your scenes, that little bit of extra realism. So when I'm looking at the bathroom and I'm rendering it, I'm going to see the water in the bathtub. So right now, if I was to drop in a light over this bathtub, interiors and lighting, and let's just add in a recessed mount light over our tub here. So let's drop in a couple of lights into our design. If I was to render this scene now, and I went up to render 3D, wrong one, view, render 3D real view, we'll see the actual water in the bathtub. And I can move the camera around so I can see a better example of what this is going to look like. And when I go to render this at the lowest quality here for right now, it will give me a better photorealistic look to the design because I'm seeing water in the bathtub. So you can play around with the designs, add in your own elements to help make your renderings look a little bit more real by adding in those little knick-knacky things like water or shampoo bottles or things of that nature. So that's everything that I wanted to talk about in today's class. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the questions and answers section. So please go ahead and type in any questions that you may have. While I'm waiting for questions to come in, I will just go over a quick review of what we covered in today's class. So to design a bathroom, you can insert predefined catalog elements, or you can create custom elements both using Envisioneer's building tools. Just some points to remember. Each cabinet in the catalog can be edited to reflect custom materials and sizes, and you can also create new ones on the fly. Walls in the same location can't be stacked directly on top of each other, so we do need to create an additional building location to create that enclosed shower look where we have a glass wall sitting on top of a framed wall. You can also use the Walls tool to create a custom tub enclosure. And then you can use the Surfaces tool to create a custom platform top for it. After inserting the tub into the platform, you can use the cut opening tool to cut a hole through the top of the surface to show where the tub is going to be. And then we also looked at how to use that surface tool to create custom elements like water to help give your renderings a little bit more realism. So again, I'm going to open up the question section just to see if there's any questions. I'm not seeing anything at the moment. So again, I'm just going to pause there just for a moment to see if anybody has any questions about anything that we covered in today's class. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the class, I will be sending out an email that will contain a document that covers everything that we've talked about. So you can, again, try this out on your own. Should you happen to have any questions while trying it out on your own, you can reach out and contact our support department. And you can do that again from Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can do that through either phone or email, and they will be happy to help you out with any questions. Well, there doesn't appear to be any questions, so I do want to thank everybody for attending today. I do look forward to speaking with you all again very soon. So thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.